Yeah, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of too loud. So tell me the storm is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat at time, I cross the line just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't even say that I fall with a butterfly in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Hello, 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 and welcome to my show, Marvel Talk, on our local establishment. I'm here tonight to talk about the season finale of Daredevil Born Again, and because I've refused to do anything by myself and do all the work like I do all the time, I have graciously invited Ed and Andre to join me. How are you doing, guys?
Hello. You might be able to see us here in these little itty bitty boxes.
Why is my screen so big?
Can you hear me?
I laughed so hard. I didn't expect to see your host, Peggy. I just lost it in the back end. I was like,
That's what I knew the joke was going to work. I'm like, I've told her everything except one or two small things.
Oh,
I could do the intro, and then I started laughing. I'm like, I don't know if I can do the intro.
when that played, I'm watching the little box at the bottom, and just Peggy just like, we got her.
Astrid, you do the
Yes.
Oh. So as you can see, I'm no longer the sassy sidekick. I'm the self-proclaimed Empress of Marvel Talk.
Yes.
Yep.
She has a little bug in the corner of the screen up there on the top. Marvel Talk featuring Peggy.
Peggy, in very, very small letters, and Ed and Andre.
Oh my god!
I guess.
Honestly,
And
seeing the host Peggy, I just
we're not
lost
necessarily
it.
always going to be here.
Oh my goodness, that set me off. I was prepared for an intro, and then I like lost it. I'm like, okay, get it together. You got this. You got this. You're a professional, sort of.
You did fantastic. You did better than Andre ever does, and that's an improvement.
I'm bad at it. Like I was only ever good at intro on when I was doing Japanese Sing Update because I did it every week. I knew how to start it exactly. This show changes constantly, so it throws me off when I have to intro the show.
So funny. So funny. Oh my goodness.
I love this.
All right. In all seriousness, I do not want to be in charge.
That's fine. I'm going to take over from here. So we go ahead, and Astrid does say a 10 out of 10 no notes, and I feel like that could apply to this finale episode of Daredevil. 10 out of 10, no notes, fantastic, absolutely epic. Bobby, if you weren't here for the last like 5 minutes, you need to go back to the show and start it all over again.
You've got your clip for tomorrow.
Yeah, you definitely have the clip. This felt like we were watching Netflix.
Yep.
Like I watched this episode and I go, am I still on Disney Plus, or did I hit the wrong button and go somewhere?
One scene in particular? Absolutely.
Somebody over at Disney hit the Konami code. Up, down, left, right, A, B, start. Like they hit something because the blood code was entered, and my God, did this thing go and never stop.
Yeah, it went by really, really fast. At one point, I was like, how long is this episode? Because it felt like it was really short. And it wasn't. It was an hour.
Yeah.
Bobby, you need to go over to the YouTube and you need to go to the YouTube and see how this show started.
This episode was fantastic.
Yes.
The only thing I couldn't get on the thumbnail, and I'm gonna put this up here now because I couldn't get it on the thumbnail because I couldn't find a good way to get it there. But we have this.
Oh my God.
We're streaming on YouTube, and it seems like I can't show the next 10 seconds of this, but this may have been the most gruesome thing I've ever seen outside of a horror movie.
Yeah, I absolutely wish I was watching this with, like, next time something like this, I wish I was watching it with someone, because I'm sure my reaction would have sold everything. Someone would have been like, "You want to know about Daredevil? Look at this face." Because I was just like, what is happening? I did not expect it at all.
That happened, and I'm just like, and I watched it this morning when I got up, and this was quite a wake up to watch this kill. Holy shit, man! Oh.
I very nearly messaged Andre and go, that might have been the greatest episode of Marvel that I've ever seen. And then realized there's no chance Andre watched it tonight and had to stop myself from doing it.
I knew he didn't, because I didn't get a whole WTF moment text from him. So
Yeah, I had a night last night. I fell asleep very early, then woke up to change my laundry, went back to sleep.
Fantastic.
I don't even know if you can go step by step in this episode, because there's just so much that happens. Do we want to pick out our favorite things, and then we can kind of fill in the blanks with everything else as we go? And we'll start with, obviously, with the Empress.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know how you pick a favorite thing from an episode that literally loaded up a shotgun and just shot everything at you all in one episode. I do very much like the post-credit scene from last night, which we can talk about towards the end, because obviously it sets something up for later on. I thought that was very well done. And probably the scene in the hospital when Matt wakes up and doesn't ask for Heather.
No, he didn't. Continuing his role of really shitty boyfriend,
Yes.
after being shot, calls out another woman's name.
Yeah. Karen, like, you could pick out her perfume in a ballroom full of people, but you didn't know it was her? Okay.
Yeah. Again, his senses might have been messed up from the drugs they had given him. You never know. But
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, that was a shit move. But no, I gotta say, it's the apartment fight scene. That was awesome, with Matt taking guys down and Frank just murdering people. And again, it's very true. It's very true, Bob. But him just murdering shit, and Matt just yelling repeatedly, "Stop! Don't do that!" Like it's holy shit. That whole scene, that ending with Cole like nailed to the wall. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That was intense. That scene was intense. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what's coming. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Matt with the whole very much like, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. And Frank's very much like, oh yeah? Like, it's like.
I did love it. Oh, so what about him? Does he deserve it? Bang. And Matt's like, the fuck
before
are
he
you
can
doing?
even answer.
That wasn't the question we were talking about, Matt. Frank.
And I love the Cole. I was gonna say, I love the Cole reveal. It's again, you see him walk in with his Punisher vest on, and then it's revealed that he was the one that killed Hector.
So much in this episode.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. That was so good. It was so good. Yeah, dude, he was so good in this episode. From the oaks of him in his previous episode to how good he was here. Whew. Let's go.
I mean, I think one of us has to bring up coffee, because I don't know how much you guys have watched about what coffee meant on the Netflix shows, but coffee was seemingly an innuendo for sex during a lot of the Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and later on in Daredevil, the same thing with the Punisher stuff as well. It was kind of an on-set like code word that they would put in the show to kind of get through the way of doing it. They bring it up 3 times in this show. Once with Matt still in the hospital gown, lying on the couch with Frank talking to him. And the funny thing is, he's like, you don't have anything to make a good cup of coffee. And then 5 things later, Frank is like, what are you going to do? Fight with your ass out? Because he's still in the
hospital gown.
hospital
Does
gown.
it called Nightgown Man or something? He calls it like
Yeah, he
Nightgown
calls
Man.
him Nightgown Man, which is fun. Later on, John Bernthal, when Karen comes back to help be their Uber driver all the way from California, they go back to his lair, and he's talking to Karen, and he asks her if she wants a cup of coffee. And you can see the little thing, and they do the little heartbeat thing where Matt's listening to both of their heartbeats start to race. And then, of course, the conversation that Matt has with Karen later on when he's grilling her about the fact that, so you're into John, huh? You're into Frank, huh? You and Frank. And she's like, no, I'm not doing this with you.
I love the response. She's like, "Did you listen to my heartbeat when I saw you?" And that's, I'm like, okay. Again, you can have feelings for multiple people. Again, she's not like she's with either of them, so she can feel however she wants. So,
oh yeah, I just thought it was a very interesting, the love triangle that they're starting to build going into season 2.
And again,
there's a very
the other half of it, no matter what, people that have been in your life like that, you're always going to have some sort of feelings toward them, whether you've broken up or not. You're always going to feel that feeling towards a person, whether you've broken up or not, unless they were a cruel person. Then the heartbeat's about hate. But but again, you're always going to have feelings for someone you at least once loved. So
yeah. But like I said, I thought there's no bad portion of this episode. You could really pick out anything and have it be killer. The episode starts with going back to the shooting, and then it goes back an entire year. And this is the fun that we see with Marvel not being able to, with all the reshoots, having to kind of twist and turn their dates, because we see him getting out 1 year ago, which wouldn't quite make sense because we've had 6 months since Foggy's been shot. So it's probably more like 18 months ago, which we know because when Karen and Matt are going through the files, she finds the box of files that are 18 months or a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that that's really the timeline that they were working with, and they just kind of botched it on the graphic. But again, with this being the original team and probably having to kind of jiggle all this in there, they missed once, and then they missed, going through it and editing. No big deal. It's the smallest of gripes, but it's something to notice on.
I looked at it, said a year ago. I just went with, okay, here from the start of the series. That's where I took it from, because we all know we all saw what happened. I'm like, okay, or like this, like essentially the year ago references the Foggy death. I'm like, okay, because again, that was a year ago from the start of like the episode. It was a year jump. I'm just kind of, my brain just goes to that point.
That's what I did too. I didn't think anything.
I'm not going to get mad at it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not mad. I just
like, whatever.
You got to nitpick something in the episode. Come on, we got to have some hatery.
No, leave him alone.
Certified hater.
This was perfect. This was perfect.
It was nearly perfect. So we get here, and we see first. I love the shot of the deer. The transition from him with the gun to the deer was sensational.
Yeah.
But then it's Vanessa coercing, seducing. I don't know how you want to talk about it. Vanessa working her
manipulating. Just call it what it is.
It was absolutely manipulation, but there are all other ways you could have taken it. Vanessa manipulating a very drugged version of Poindexter to go ahead and shoot and kill Foggy and Benny, which is what we all thought was happening. So it's good to see. We also get in this scene, in this little section, when it goes back to the ballroom, that he was aiming for Vanessa first and then decided to change, and to hurt her, he was going to shoot Kingpin. Which again makes a lot of sense. And at least they answer the question that they left us with last week's. Why did he shoot Fisk when obviously if he was hired by Vanessa, he'd want to shoot her to keep her quiet? So I like that they're trying to tie up these loose ends. They're attempting to do the things they need to do. And while they answered that question, I'll also say that they didn't give us the greatest answer for Matt. Why did you save Fisk? Because Bernthal later on will ask that question to Charlie Cox's Daredevil. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, that's such shitty writing. Come on, guys. You've done such
It's what a hero
job.
does. It's
Yes.
what a hero does. That's
But
all the
then
answer
why
you need.
doesn't he say that? Like, that's the thing. Like, if that's the reason and he knows that's the reason, then just say it. Like, the I don't know makes it like the writers don't know what they're doing. And obviously they do, because like I said, I thought this episode was amazing. But it's just like, I just wish they would have had a better answer than I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I get what you mean. I get you there. I really do.
Yeah. But like I said, I thought this was great. Then we go to the hospital room where Matt continues to be shitty boyfriend by calling out
As
Karen's
always.
name. At this point, we're pretty much done with Heather. She not too
There's a
long
couple other
after that.
scenes, but that's about it.
Yeah, but she's bye, Heather.
We're done with Heather and Matt. We're not
Yeah.
done with Heather. Yeah.
We're not, well, unfortunately. Unfortunately, she'll be back next season.
Well, she has a pretty big scene later on in this episode too.
She does indeed. Sorry, I'm trying to get my little list of things here. Matt goes on trying to explain to Kristen what's going on with Vanessa, trying to get her to understand. And she's like, no, you're just drugged. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. We'll talk about this later. She references the fact that they need to have a big discussion once he gets out of the hospital, which is obviously her being like, look, you need to leave the firm because I can't handle your shit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I think that's what we expected. I think it's you got to remember it's Born Again, so the Daredevil has to go to be at his worst before he can rise up again, right? And this episode kind of leads to his worst. Oh, almost like he's kind of down. He's at the bottom, and he's going to rise back up.
I think he's been at his worst the entire season. I think that was his I think this is his Born Again moment, being that this entire show has been his worst, and now he's reclaiming
because
what it means to be Daredevil.
Everything has slowly been rolling downhill. His life has been slowly falling apart throughout the last 8 episodes, minus episode 5, because that's just great episode. But it's just all rolling downhill into what happens, him getting shot, and then this after getting shot is kind of his way back up. Oh no, look who's here.
See, I looked at that the same way, like when you were talking about the Born Again, I was like, he basically died. I mean, he got shot, you know, and so he's basically resurrected. He's born again. This is the starting point of the new Daredevil.
Oh, I agree, but again, this is what it was building to. Him getting shot,
yeah, exactly.
They literally kind of dies, and Born Again,
yeah.
STG.
And I think it's interesting as we're going to see a different Daredevil in the next season, because we've already seen the leaked set photos where we're having the black suit. As I like to refer to it, we're finally getting the Ben Affleck Daredevil. This is the black suit.
I refer to him as the triple Ds, the Dark Daredevil.
Dark Daredevil, triple Ds.
Yeah.
That could work too. But yes, we're
the
getting
classic
the
black with the red arms and legs. I haven't seen it, so
all black with the red on the front of it, isn't it?
Yeah, the red is literally only the lettering on it, in the whole suit is black. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I know that suit.
It's from the Dark series, I believe they call it.
STG, if you just got here, make sure you watch the beginning of the show later.
Yeah, go back to YouTube and watch how the show starts. You have to, including the Marvel Talk video before the show. Watch
it's
it all.
It's the Shadowlands. By the way, the reference is the Shadowlands run.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew it was the Dark something, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And then,
it's the Shadowlands arc. Is the it seems to be the suit that they're pulling from. I mean, he's worn this suit in various different forms throughout the comics. Yes, I mean, STG, if nothing else, here's the thumbnail for today's show.
So
I will
good.
direct your attention to the
So
top
good.
left corner.
Corner.
Ah.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good suit. That's a good. Oh, okay. That is. Not
We have a scene with we have a scene with Wilson and Vanessa where we basically fill in Wilson on what's going on. Now he understands what's going on. He didn't know that she hadn't moved. He didn't know that she was the one who had Foggy killed. Yes, that's a version of the suit that they're using. It's not precisely that suit, but it's
obviously that's the inspiration. Yeah,
that is absolutely the inspiration that they're using. We get to Fisk in his mayoral office with his new clothes on, still in a completely white suit, which is always fun and interesting. I love the fact that Kingpin always puts himself in a white suit, trying to portray himself as the White Knight. I've always
it looks so good.
Yeah.
Like when we started this episode, it obviously picks up right after the last episode, and we see him in the full white with the red splatter of blood. Like that is your first image from this episode, and it's just so good. Like so good.
And again, you're saying he always puts him in his way. Remember, the villain thinks they're the hero in every story. Just remember that.
Oh,
they look at themselves as the hero.
Yeah, no,
STG's
not. Yeah. I mean, that's a question for Peggy. That's not a question for us, but
I feel like she'll be back in a couple weeks.
Maybe.
I feel. I don't know. We're going to see the movie together, so
the Empress gets to come and go whenever she would like.
Just make my own.
She
rules.
will continue to be the host of the show, whether she's here or not, in spirit or not. She will be the host of the show. And
welcome to my show, Marvel Talk.
Yeah. Me and Andre have been doing this for 2 years, but it's fine. This is now Peggy's show, and me and Andre are just here to help.
I'm just like, just
me and Andre are just here to push buttons and talk for Peggy. That's all it is.
Oh goodness.
We get Fisk telling Buck to kill Matt because he'd rather a lawyer die, a hero lawyer die, than a vigilante live.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was a great line when he explains like, Matt took a bullet for me, and he makes him look really, really good, and then he's just like, he needs to disappear, right? Because a dead hero is so much better than a living vigilante. And I was like, oh snap, like so good, like such a great line.
Yep. This is where we go to Buck goes to the hospital to try to kill Matt with a syringe of all things. I mean, I guess if you're trying to kill the deaf guy, that's probably the best way to go, I would imagine. But
and depending on what it is, it would be really hard to trace, right? Like if he put it into his IV or whatever.
Yeah. Again, yeah, you do something of that point, yeah.
Yeah.
We could tell. We could also tell SCG still watching the show from the beginning.
After that little spiel, you can jump. You can just
after the intro.
Right that was the end of the fun and games.
Yeah, so he goes in with the syringe, which I assume he's going to put something in the IV, and then we see him checking his watch, and I'm like, oh, what's about to go down? And we get the power cut. So I thought that was great. That was a really neat little thing, because I'm thinking, I guess it hides him, but I mean, the blind guy doesn't really need lights to see what's happening to him, at which we obviously get from the next scene where he knows something's up, he hears it, and he disappears into the crowd, escaping the hospital or evacuating the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, we'll let the logic gap go that any hospital worth its salt will have backup generators to, stop this from happening.
Kingpin knows what he's doing. He cut all of the power. We just go with that.
He had somebody at the hospital disabling the backup generator.
Yeah, it's the Marvel logic. Just go with it.
I also do love how when they do the long shot of New York and as it's going dark, you see Jersey City just off to the left.
Mhm.
completely illuminated and ready to go. And I just like how that's a thing. Like in season 2, there's a chance we get Miss Marvel. There's a chance that we get a new White Tiger. There's a lot of new interesting characters that we could start weaving
Spooderman,
into
maybe?
this season 2 of Daredevil.
I think we definitely see the new White Tiger, best on the screenshot we got towards the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, there's a lot of little street level stuff. If only Sony wasn't such a bitch, we could even have a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We could
be
even
awesome.
have a Spider-Man.
Like, you don't need actual Spider-Man. You just need, I think you more or less, like, I never see Spider-Man entering the show, but I can see Peter Parker just like in a cameo appearance, just making a kind of roll in because he needs more legal stuff from Matt. Like,
I don't know if Sony will ever let that happen though. Like, my biggest thing is so there was it was an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio recently where they asked him if he'd ever appear in a Spider-Man movie or in a Marvel movie. And he goes, "No, there's a rights issue there. You'll probably never see me in a movie form." And I'm like, what's the rights issue that we've got going on there? Because I'd love to see Kingpin being, especially that we've now gotten the news today that supposedly Brand New Day is going to be a street level Marvel movie. It's not going to be big. It's not going to be a massive thing. It's going to be more of a street level thing, like some of the things we've seen here. And I'm like, it'd be great if it were a Daredevil, or like if this were like all building to Brand New Day. Because we know Brand New Day comes out next year. We know Brand New Day comes out in the summer of next year. But again, theoretically, if they're filming now, there's a chance that in early 2026 we get Daredevil season 2. That
March is the announcement so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
and again,
theoretically
it could. And again, the actors and talk about this stuff they talk about. Again, sometimes they say things that aren't quite true to throw people off of sense about things. Have you ever?
They would lie to us? What are they? A professional wrestler?
Well, that's what their job is to professionally lie to you.
Yeah. So we get the scene of the conversation with Matt on the couch, and almost like he's having a therapy session with Frank, as Frank's sitting by the thing. I thought that was
thinking, how isn't he in like really rough shape? He literally got shot, like, you know what I mean, in the chest or the gut or whatever, and he's just sitting like lounging in his hospital gown on his sofa, like he's just having a Saturday watching a movie at home. Like, I mean,
we literally had this conversation last week, and you're like, it's got to be a time jump, and I'm like, nah, and I even said it's probably going to pick up right away. I'm thinking, it's a superhero show. The guy getting shot isn't going to stop him, and you're just like, nah. And you both are saying it's going to be a time jump. So
I mean, yeah, you don't get shot and go to work the next day, but apparently you do.
I mean, when you're Matt, you do. When you're Matt Murdock, apparently you do.
Fair.
I mean, supposedly, fair.
Excuse me, it's Nightgown Man.
Yes, Nightgown Man. Apparently, somebody brought this up, and it's something that I had forgotten from early in season 1 of Daredevil. Stick taught him how to meditate and heal faster.
Yes.
So, in theory, while Matt was unconscious, he was meditating to help the healing process slowly work quicker so that he could have the battle he's about to have.
Immediately.
Again, I don't buy it either, but this is the straws we have to grab. Again, Marvel logic. You just got to go with it.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't even question it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't question it too long. I'm like, all right, this is silly, but you know what?
You didn't have time to question it. That fight scene just like came out of nowhere immediately. You're like, okay, you don't have time to dwell on this. And maybe that's the point. Don't dwell on it. Just let's go. Let's roll with it.
And this is where the blood code got turned on, and all of a sudden, this dark battle where there's almost no light. And again, I give all credit to the directing team here, with the director of lighting and the director and the cinematographer to figure out these shots to have just enough lighting to have the blood spatter go everywhere, because Frank Castle was not fucking around.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not even a
And
slight
that
bit.
poor guy in the dreads, whose only role in this show was, you are cast as man with dreads, so that when Frank Castle shoots you in the back of the head, your dreads fall up in the perfect arc to make a great cinematic shot.
Mhm.
Oh, so good. So good.
It's
Oh.
definitely one thing I've noticed too is that I mean, my old eyes do not do well with dark programming. And so a lot of TV shows that you watch on Disney and HBO and whatever other streaming services, they're either so dark that you can't see anything, or they're just, normal, and then they don't have that sort of cinematic quality of being that dark, edgy thing that you need. So I appreciate that it was like perfect. I didn't have to change my settings on my TV. I didn't have to crank up anything. I was like, okay, I see Daredevil. I see the Punisher logo. That's really all I need to see. I know what's going on here. So yeah, it
And like I
wasn't
said,
too dark, which was nicely done.
Yeah, I was just say it was low light, but just enough. It's that wonderful happy middle where
Mhm.
you can see what's going on, but you can't see any of the people that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
I thought it was sensational. It's the best fight scene I've seen in Marvel in some time. I mean, it's the
by
bloodiest Marvel fight scene we've ever seen.
Yeah, and like you watch it, and again, it's so brutal with Frank. He's just murdering people, and the one dude he takes him, he tackles up, goes over the island, tackling the guy, and just pulls out the knife and just repeatedly stabbing this dude. It is brutal. I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ.
Okay,
No?
sorry, I wasn't sure if Peggy was about to talk or something.
No, I'm just my brain is processing.
We get Officer Cole North being revealed, like we said earlier, as the killer of the White Tiger, which was a great reveal. The pain and confliction in Matt there was sensational. I really enjoyed that. Matt hears more people coming. He hears a grenade. They run
That
and
was
jump.
a great scene. That whole but he's just like, he hears it, he's like, grenade, go. And I was like, that is so good. I love those little things when it's just his,
and then diving
his
off, and
method.
you just see him the last second, build with his shooter thingy of his club, and just the last minute, just like and then they still crash onto the car.
Mhm.
It was,
That was a great
just
shot.
impressive. I loved it.
It
And I'm assuming
slowed
we
the
lost
fall.
Cole here, right? Like Cole was in the apartment, was he not?
Yeah,
Yeah, all of them are
theoretically,
dead.
Cole is
Most
dead.
dead.
But
Yeah.
should be, could be, but it's Marvel and it's a superhero,
Yeah.
so he's probably
That's
burned.
fair.
I mean, remember what about Rumlow, Frank Rumlow from Captain America? I think it was Captain America Winter Soldier. Remember, he gets so burned, but then he comes back as Crossbones. So
That
in
is true.
theory, this isn't something we haven't seen before, where North could come back. I doubt he's back for season 2, but you never know. They start walking away, and then a pair of headlights come up behind them to illuminate them. And I'm like, oh God, somebody's going to fucking run them over now. This is not good. And no, it's just Karen showing that she's an Uber all the way from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know if I would have been the one, Frank, she calls Frank to help Matt, and then she comes all the way across country like that. That's a lot, man, for your ex-boyfriend. It's a whole hell of a lot, man. I don't know if I would have done it.
I just like her resignation to the fact that they're idiots, and she's just like, get in, just get in. Like,
Oh my God, it's so good, so good.
She's just so like deadpan, like, yeah, I know, just get in the car.
And I love it because like you've got like the still on fire building where Matt used to live.
Yeah.
And she's just like, of course you guys blew up the house. Of course you did.
Like, nothing surprises me. Just get in the car.
Daniel and Buck have the city council here, and they start threatening the entire city council at like 11 o'clock at night in the middle of a blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that seems normal. This is a scene that kind of could have been thrown away. I don't think we really needed this. They threaten one of them, telling them they got all kinds of offshore money. And of course they do. They're city politicians. What city politician doesn't have money stashed away somewhere, right?
True.
We get the scene inside Frank's lair, which really doesn't have a ton of like. It's a good scene. It moves the plot. It does the thing. But at the end of the day, like other than showing us that Matt's jealous of Frank's relationship with Karen, there's really not much to this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again,
Like,
it's more just foreshadowing for what's coming, like what a plot line for season 2. It's all this really is setting up. It's just a foreshadowing scene for season 2.
Yeah. And this is where Matt continues by telling Karen that he figured out what Foggy was up to. He explains it to her. They decide to go back to the storage unit where they have all of the old files from Nelson, Murdock, and Page. And they find out that what Foggy figured out is that Red Hook is apparently, since in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, since 1855, is a free port. Which means that
this was really interesting. I liked this actually as someone who's like nerdy and likes that kind of content. I'm like, oh, teach me something. Teach me something interesting.
Do you want to break down what they taught us about what the free port means and how it applies for what we've seen in the show?
Basically, it's a lawless country up to itself. It doesn't belong to anyone. It doesn't have to pay tariffs. It doesn't have to pay taxes. It's basically a land of lawlessness and no rules. So that's why obviously Kingpin wants his whole thing there.
Oh, so Red Hook is the American version, or the American version of Madripoor. Okay.
No, it's more so some countries have a particular area outside of a shipping area or an airport where you can bring goods in and out of without having to deal with that country in and of itself. You don't theoretically don't have to deal with customs and things like that, but you would have to make announcements. The big thing of why this is important here is it's showing that all of the art that Vanessa would have been bringing in, all of the drugs and all of the things that Kingpin would have been doing and the businesses, the families would have been doing, are all going through Red Hook because they can avoid customs, but she still would have been needing to claim this once she started selling the art and things like that. So, but to hide the fact that Red Hook is a free port, she was going ahead and saying that it came through other areas and it came through other things. This is what Foggy figured out. This is why Foggy had to die, because Foggy probably didn't understand that it tied the 5 families to the Kingpins, the Fisks themselves.
Yeah,
Foggy
I think he found out the bare minimum. I don't think he realized the implications of what he found out.
Like he found out what he needed that would benefit his client. All he realized was that being that it happened there, oh, my guy's not going to get in trouble. My guy can't be in trouble. That's all he found out. Simple, easy thing. But he never put that together. No, which is just cruel. Cruel.
But I think what's awesome about it is it's the way that Vanessa can get around the deal that was made between Matt and Wilson. The deal that was made between Matt and Wilson is that nobody will go after Foggy and nobody will go after Matt as long as Kingpin stops doing the Kingpin things, which he did, and nobody goes after Vanessa for all the things that she was doing. And so Foggy accidentally is getting involved in Vanessa's things. So Vanessa feels compelled that she can kill Foggy because the deal's been broken.
Yeah.
But Fisk, and that's why the scene earlier that we kind of glossed over with Fisk saying, I understand, I get what's happening, it's okay, we'll make it work, is because now Fisk is going to protect her for breaking the rules of what him and Matt had done, so that nobody would go to jail, nobody would die, because they can just have a nice status quo.
That makes sense.
The Punisher decides to be a one-man killing army and finds out where the entire task force hangs out and does a good job trying to kill a whole bunch of them. But at the end of the day,
an attempt was made.
Yes, an attempt was made, and as you figure, a whole bunch of cops versus one murderous rampager. The murderous rampager did not win the fight. He gets knocked out. He gets beat up pretty damn good. And he gets kidnapped. Then we start doing this back and forth thing, which this show has been very good at, especially with this core group of directors. In season 1, we had a little bit of this, the back and forth. We had a lot of it in the last episode. In episode 8, there was a lot of really great back and forth. We had it again here. Punisher dealing with, while being handcuffed to the chair and trying to be talked into becoming a member of the anti-vigilante task force, which seems like a bad idea from the word jump. Like, why would you think this man would ever join your group? I don't understand.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like-
a one-man army. We want you to join us. Yeah, that's probably not going to be a thing.
And he
Yeah,
literally calls
that
them
whole bit
clowns.
was just like confusing to me. I was like, "Come on, dude, it's just dumb."
I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, they're using his symbol, they're using his likeness, they're using his, what they think is his motivation, his mentality, and so on. And why wouldn't you want the main guy as part of your group?
I love the one thing I thought that came out of this is I love the line from the Punisher, from Frank here, where he goes, "You think you understand me. You think you understand my loss. You think you understand why I do what I do. You have no clue. All of you are fucking clowns." I added the F word in there because they needed it and they decided not to do it because it's Disney. But I love that bit because it makes all of it worthwhile. It makes that whole portion of the scene worthwhile for him to literally get there and be like, "No, you don't understand what you're dealing with. I'm not out here to hurt people because of the fact I do this as penance to kill the people who hurt me and caused me loss in my life, and for nothing else other than that."
Yeah.
This is also flashing with the scenes with Gallows, which we can't show you on YouTube. If we were only on Twitch, I'd take the risk and show you the 10 seconds.
I liked the whole scene where we're leading up to this too. In the beginning, they're talking about how the guys have no body cams and they have no rules, and the commissioner, is that
Yep.
what his
Yep,
title was?
police commissioner.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember what his title was. Is very much against it, that it's illegal and so on and so forth. He gets dismissed, sent home, whatever. Then we get the whole conversation between Fisk and his chief of staff. Is that her title? And he's like, "I know you have your ear to the ground. Who's with me and who's against me?" And then she goes and records the chief, realizes and takes it to Kingpin that he is not on board. He is actually against Fisk. And that's where we get to this point with the commissioner.
And if you thought the car door scene was something, you ain't seen nothing yet. The Daredevil team did put out a great tweet today with the prosthetic.
Yes, I saw that
scene. Oh, sensational. I can't imagine him having to make that look and hold it for long enough for them to make that mold. That must have been a pain in the ass to make.
That whole scene, I did not expect it to be what it was. So we're in the scene and we're seeing, Fisk with his hands on his head, and you're like, okay, you know where it's going. They're going to leave it up to your imagination. You might hear the crunch. Oh no, you saw it all, and it was a lot.
And like the way he does it, he like has one hand and he's crushing, and then it slides down and just rips the jaw off. And the other one goes into the head, and it, like obviously it's a prosthetic the way he's smushing it. But I'm just like, oh, I was horrified. I just went.
Also, I want to also sit here and say, fuck you, I hate you to the directors and the writers of this episode for one thing. How dare you give us a bald black man named Luke and not have it be fucking Luke Cage? He even talks
Season
like
2.
the actor who plays Luke Cage. Like, I went back and watched that scene 10 times to make sure it wasn't Luke Cage.
Season 2.
We keep saying this, and I don't know if it's going to happen.
He needs an army. He needs an army.
Because Luke is part of the Defenders, correct?
He is. He is indeed.
Okay. So if we're getting that whole line here where he's like, we need the team, we need a team, do we think that's the Defenders?
In
I
theory,
think they might
it
get
would be.
involved at some point. At least two of them. Or two of them.
Kristen Ritter has made it clear that she'd be willing to do it. And I believe, hold on, Luke Cage.
And
What's the
even
actor
the
name
one
here?
we don't want, it wants another shot.
Yeah, we're not giving
so-
Danny Rand another shot. Fuck that.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying.
Mike
things are
Coulter. Mike Coulter is the actor,
I
and
think
he said
Coulter-
that he's
I think
willing.
Coulter would do it. Yeah, so
Coulter says
why
he's
not?
willing to do it. It's up to Marvel to get at him and to do it. And
I
Finn
think they will.
Jones. Finn Jones is the one who says he would love an opportunity to come back and try to correct what went wrong with Danny Rand in the Netflix series. But I have a feeling Marvel's going to take the opportunity to change that.
I honestly bring back Colleen Wing, like fuck yeah, bring the Daughters of the Dragon in, bring them in too, like that. Colleen Wing and I can't remember the one's name. The other Daughter of the Dragon, the black girl.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. There's a whole. They have a slew of people. I don't think we're bringing back a ton of people from the Netflix era. I'll be honest. They're only going to bring back ones that they want to use in the future.
But
And
I
I think
honestly, I really see Coulter Ritter and the girl who played Colleen Wing probably coming back to be part of the army.
It's very possible. Fisk then announces that he is announcing the Safe Streets Initiative to the public on the television. While
This is
he's
when
like,
Power's been
hulking-
turned back on.
Yes, Power has come back on. He's hulking over his desk like he's like standing and leaning to be like this all powerful, like
He's a
larger
very
than-
imposing man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's not a small man to start with, Vincent D'Onofrio, but how do they make him look massive? Like, he looks huge and terrifying.
Camera
and
angles.
that's the great thing
so
about
good.
this, though. The great thing about this is the Kingpin is supposed to be this massive,
Absolutely.
like 8-9 foot tall, 500-600 pound dude. And they've done a very good job making a smaller version of Vincent D'Onofrio feel realistic, but also feel like the character. He always feels larger than life. He always feels bigger than he needs to be for anything. And like you said, he's a big dude to begin with. But they do such a good job creatively making him look large. Yes.
The camera angle is almost always shot at like lower chest height for him, looking up. So of course that always makes him look overbearing. It's impressive. Sorry, Andre.
So according to Marvel, or to Kingpin is only 6'7", 450 pounds.
Oh, really? Okay. I stand corrected. I always thought he was bigger than that because they
I always
make
thought he
such a
was
big
like
deal about his
7.5
size.
feet.
I was gonna
thought
say
like
I always
7,
thought he was
7.5
almost 8.
feet.
So yeah. But he announces the Safe Streets Initiative. He also puts a curfew of 8 p.m. in place in New York City, which seems like a bad idea. I don't know about you, but if I couldn't go out after 8 p.m., I'd be an unhappy camper.
I'd be okay with it. I'm okay to stay home and not feel like I need to go visit people.
Honestly, I'm home.
No
I'm
more?
home by 6.
Yeah.
6:30 after work. I usually don't go out again until the next day.
So no more wrestling shows for any of us? Is that how it
Yeah.
goes?
Just watch online. It's fine.
But how are you going to do it?
We could just do Saturday afternoon shows. Just keep doing Saturday afternoon shows.
We've got a plan. We're part of the Streets Initiative. It's fine. The Safe Streets
right.
Initiative.
These two are on the Safe Street Initiative. I, on the other hand, am very angry about the Safe Street Initiative. He also makes it pretty clear that vigilante. Oh no, he says it outright. Vigilanteism is now considered illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it
we see
always?
So
Wasn't it
yes,
technically
being a vigilante
always?
is technically illegal, but this is bigger than that. This is now, because remember, he's given the task force, first strike capability. Essentially, they can use enhanced force, as we saw just moments later with some kid who was trying to riot in the streets and steal a TV or stuff. and he drops it, and the cop shoots him anyways, and then pulls his beanie down over his face. But I thought it was great. I didn't notice this until I saw it on one of the breakdowns on one of the shows. His mask ends right under his nose, just like Matt Murdock did in the homemade suit in the first episode of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And he goes, vigilante, it's fine.
I thought it was interesting too when you see that, because obviously some of the task force are not entirely on board with this absolutely no rules. Because I mean, you see the one cop who's literally like, he's just a child. Like, you know, that's the first thing out of his mouth. And he just pulls the hat down and he's like, no, masked vigilante, it's okay. And I was like, oh.
I feel because they show this guy here in that scene, and they do show him again towards the end of the episode when you have all those shots of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this character's name is, but I feel like this is a character. What?
They gave him a name. He is Lieutenant Saunders.
Yeah,
Cadet
so
Saunders.
he's definitely.
People are wondering if he's related to the character in the original Avengers movie. Remember when the police come and they have that scene where Captain America is telling them what to do, and they're like, "Who are you to tell us what to do?" And he does like a couple of things, and he cuts off the Chitauri arm, and he goes, "Do all the things he said." And there was that guy standing right next to him. The badge on his name says Saunders, so they're wondering if those two, like, that was his father who died in the Chitauri invasion, which made him become a police officer because it's all New York.
Again, but again, the way they focused on him here, and then they show him again in the last montage thing, like showing different people. I feel like he's the kind like going to eventually turn against them and join Matt and the Daredevil Society, or whatever you're going to call it.
I believe he was in the bar at Josie's bar when they make up the team.
I thought so too. That's what I was actually just looking up to see if I could find the picture.
I'm not sure. I only noticed certain people in that one. So
yeah, Daredevil says that they're going to take back this city, and he needs an army to do it. They're meeting at Josie's. People we can absolutely confirm are there. Karen is there. The cop lady from the bottle episode was there. I forget what her name is, but she was great.
She was in the first episode. She was in the bar with Cherry.
Yeah.
But she was talking to Cherry in that first episode.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I remember her from that bottle episode with the robbery. She was also there informing Fisk about some of the things when they were doing the Muse stuff in the middle. But I think she'll be great. I'm very excited to see what she can. She's going to be the new cherry on the force who's going to be helping Matt kind of make sure to get in and out of trouble without any too much issues. Matt always needs somebody on the force to help him kind of, navigate getting out of police custody just in the nick of time. And then there's a couple of other unnamed officers who we see in the background, one of which I believe is this guy that we were just talking about. We see a scene where Fisk...
I literally have it up on my phone. I'm trying to look at it.
Good luck on that, my friend. Fisk makes Heather his administrator's commissioner of mental health.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting going forward. Hiring your therapist to become the commissioner of mental health.
I guess it's good to have a therapist on staff, on call all the time, I guess.
Yep. This is where Kingpin, says that we're under vigilante is illegal. Vigilante activity is illegal. New York City has got a curfew and we're under martial law, which ironically cannot be given by a mayor. It has to be given by like the governor or the federal government, from what I understand. Again, new rock stars,
Sure.
I gotta love them. I assume that they're doing their due diligence and doing things that, give us proper information. And then we see all of the rich people in cages, which may have been one of the coolest art exhibits I've ever seen, of all these rich people who are going against Kingpin, locked up in cages, including Jack Duquesne, the swordsman. This is also where Frank Castle's being kept. Basically, anybody who pisses off Kingpin is kept in a cage down in this little room. And then him and Vanessa have dinner in front of Rabbit in a Snowstorm with the blood still on it, as all of these people are sitting in their cages. Oh, chef's kiss. I love it. Oh. It's so good.
It was so good. It was just, and then juxtapose it with the Daredevil stuff. It was just, dude, it all works so well. It just, and the
Well-
shot when they're in Josie's bar of it going through the window, and then the light lights up, and it's that red light, and Daredevil is bathing in it. You're just like through that shot in the window. Oh, dude, just utter a cinematic perfection.
Like I said, I cannot give these guys more than enough credit. The episodes 1, 8, and 9 were absolutely sensational. Bullseye reappears in an apartment with broken glass, and he's looking through it. And he seems to be different. He seems to be changed in some way, shape, or form. He seems to.
It didn't go blue, did it?
No,
It did not go blue. It is the only time we saw him kind of looking and thinking and whatnot, and had no blue with it. And then the episode ends for now. And then we get a post-credit scene. And Andre, I'm going to let you talk about the post-credit scene because I know that you really liked it. So it was one of your favorite things of this episode.
She really liked it.
it was my favorite thing.
I'm sorry. I apologize. It's the Empress.
We're interchangeable, obviously.
No,
No,
my Canadians are not interchangeable.
I just thought it was the only episode that had a post-credit scene, was it not?
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say, I
seems
think
like they
so.
do that
It
for a
looks-
lot of the shows. A lot of the shows have done, like outside of She-Hulk, that was because they did little comedic snippets at the end, but that was about it.
I think it made Frank look really smart, and you know he's in the cage and he's just got the one guy guarding him, and he's I mean, what they tell you to do in an emergency situation: make yourself human, make a human connection with the person that is holding you, make so that they care about you. So he's asking who he is, like what his first name, and he just gives a first name, and then he says, "Well, no, what's your last name?" So he gets a last name out of him, and then he dresses him by his full name, and then he starts asking questions as the guy gets closer and closer because Frank starts talking quieter and quieter. So the guy's getting closer to talk to him. And as he says, it's really nice to meet you, man. And he puts his hand out, and everybody knew where this was going. But as soon as he goes to shake his hand, he pulls his arm in, and he just basically removes his arm. I mean, the arm is just destroyed. And that's how we know that, that the Punisher is out and on his way. But I was just like, that scene too, like, I mean, besides the whole head squishy scene, that scene was very graphic as well, because you could hear it and you could see that, yeah, arms don't move that way. So
No,
yeah, I thought it was very well done for, and then it sort of like leaves it off and you're like, okay, he's good. He's out. He's good.
Yeah, this was sensational. This entire show was Here's the thing. This was distinctly two different shows.
Mhm.
Episodes 2 through 7 and episodes 1, 8, and 9 are two entirely different shows. However, I thoroughly enjoyed both of my Daredevil Born Again shows that happened in these last 8 weeks, 7 weeks.
They did enough to weave them together that it still felt like a cohesive show overall.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like, but you can tell what was the early stuff and what was later stuff, like in reshoots and everything. Like, I honestly expected more from the reshoots, but yeah, being that they only went 9 and I think they already had like 5 or 6 filmed, and you could tell like they did reshoot stuff within those episodes too.
Mhm.
And where did episode 5 actually exist? Was it a pre thing? Was it a later thing? We don't really. I think it's a pre thing, but yeah, you kind of just have those. I really did enjoy it though. Overall, it was, to me, it never failed me. The show never failed me.
What do we think about the whole scene with young Gandolfini? Like what
I
he's
like
been
him.
up to.
I think the last thing we see of him is him sitting in the mayor's chair, just kind of.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know what we get from him in season 2. I'm excited to see what we get from him in season 2. I hate him as much as I hate any heel in professional wrestling, so I think he's doing the job he needs to do.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I think he's done a great job this series. I think the evolution of the character in that he from this suck up to this worm to like, okay, this guy just wants power, and just you can see his, and again, it's like yeah, Kingpin Jr. coming here. Yeah.
And when we had the whole montage at the end with the voiceover before we led into Josie's, we also got the niece of the White Tiger as well. So I assume she's going to come into play in the next season too.
Hopefully, I would hope.
I don't know why we would show her, make such a big deal of showing her close up like that too, if we weren't.
I just wish they would have revealed the necklace. Maybe I missed it, but I wish they would have revealed her wearing the necklace.
Yeah, me too. So I think right now you could either go two ways. They're showing her just because of the Hector connection, which, we talked about at the beginning of the episode as well. They did a little bit of a flashback showing, him talking about Hector. So
what's up? What's up, my boy?
If we would have seen the necklace, then you'd know for sure she's going to be the new White Tiger. Whereas if not, they can just write it off as being, we just showed her because of Hector, just as a reminder of, the human side of what's been happening this episode.
And remember, she's very young, so it's I don't know how we want to do vigilante with her getting into like she's so young, and if we're getting so gritty, I don't know if
unless she gets involved with Miss Marvel or something.
Yeah, that's like I think there are ways to do it, but we've got to be very careful how we're using teenagers in character. Obviously, maybe not in reality, but in character. She seems like she's, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. And how are we going to tell that story with her getting into fights with full-grown men and women? It could get a little dicey. We have to see how that goes. But I agree. I want her to be the White Tiger. Her being there obviously means that we're going to get more from her. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how we do it with, making it all work, intertwined.
And then the thing that dropped today was if they did a teaser there with D'Onofrio and Day, or not Day,
Cox.
So why did I think Charlie Day is in the show? What?
Why did you think Charlie Day? I don't know.
I know who you meant. It was just like, yep.
But, D'Onofrio and Cox, and they're in the thing they're talking, and they reveal Fogwell's gym. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I saw that today as well.
It made my heart all happy to see Fogwell's gym coming in as a location for season 2. So that's the end of our Daredevil Born Again. I don't think I need to ask. We all loved this episode and this show. Yeah. We're all hyped for season 2. It can't come soon enough.
Definitely.
So we will be back with Marvel Talk. Andre and I at the very least, and the Empress is free to join us on any episode she well pleases, as she is the new host of Marvel Talk. But we will be back in 2 weeks on probably that Sunday. So we're looking at probably
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th, which is why Peggy's a very maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Because this is Star Wars Day, and Peggy is the Star Wars.
Basically nerd Christmas. Yeah.
Well, for some of us. I mean, Star Wars is fine. I like my Star Wars. I don't love my Star Wars, so it's okay.
It's okay. You
like every time I get done watching Daredevil, they're like, "You want to watch Andor?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't want to watch Andor."
That's what it suggests to me every time too.
And I'm like, "No, I don't want to watch Andor. Thank you, Mom." Thank you, Disney.
Well, I think because Andor starts next week.
Well, no, I just think it's because of that. Yeah, it's exactly. They're trying to push us to watch Andor now so you can get ready for Andor next week.
True.
Disney Star Wars is fine. There's nothing wrong with Disney Star Wars. There's a lot of good Disney Star Wars. There's a lot of bad Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
So what I've been typing away here looking, I was trying to see how old the actress was that is playing the niece, and she's 24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They were definitely portraying her as somebody way younger, though, right? Like, she was being portrayed as somebody who's like...
But I could feel like the character would be, if you think about it.
Yeah, the character is very young, but I was just curious how old the actress was that was playing her, because often they're much older than they're playing, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I could see her character being 15 or 16, so that one's not as bad.
No, I guess if she's that old,
She's just short.
Yeah, they're going to have to do some explaining. That's all I'm going to say.
It's hard. It's hard for people to separate the fact of how old an actress is versus how old the character is. So let's say she's let's say 16, which I think is reasonable-ish. Like
Yeah.
people are going to see her as a 16-year-old in these fights, not as a 24-year-old. So,
Which is fine.
True.
Like I said, that'll work.
Mhm.
Miss
Listen.
Peggy, while you're here, why don't you go ahead and tell us all the fun things, including the thing that you couldn't tell us last week that you can now talk to us about this week.
Oh,
So
I have
tell us
lots
all
to talk
about.
about this week.
We're going to give you the big screen, not the full
Aw.
big screen, but this big screen. Talk to us about the
Peggy
high.
screen.
Yeah.
Talk to
So,
us
first of
about
all, you can follow me on most social media at _Ophelia_Pain. But this weekend, I will be joining bodyslam.net for their WrestleMania post show on Sunday, which I'm really excited about because I've never been on their show before. So that's really, really exciting for me. And then starting at the beginning of June, The Hive will be taking over, which is its own platform that will cover sports, gaming, pop culture, a little bit of everything. And I will be doing mostly video game content and some pop culture stuff, movie reviews, TV reviews, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good
as a fun thing, post WrestleMania, so starting the Sunday after WrestleMania, Peggy and I on at least my Twitch channel and maybe some other locations are going to try to start doing a Doctor Who review series. We're going to probably talk about the first 3 episodes in a chunk because we were going to do it this week and then we realized we were going to miss a week anyways with WrestleMania Sunday. So we just decided to go the week afterwards. But I'm very excited to have the Dr. Ophelia Payne and me as the companion, even though it's going to be on my channels.
It'll be another one of my shows. That's okay.
I was gonna say I am far from an expert on Doctor Who, so I'm going to rely heavily on the knowledge and wonderful that is Peggy. So I'm very excited that will be coming. Like I said, the Sunday after WrestleMania. For all the rest of my content, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Skies at EdFries12584. You can find me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. You can find me here the rest of the week with WrestleMania week here at our local establishment. You will find me tomorrow night with Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson as we do Ring Respect Radio. We're talking all things Cold Fury 2025. And we're also talking about Mortar Mania, which will be happening on this Friday night. I'm very excited for that. The next chaotic show following Cold Fury with the new champion Mortar after defeating Ricky Smokes. WWE ID'd Ricky Smokes. So whole bunch of fun there. Then on Friday, like I said, I'm going to the chaotic show, so that'll be a whole lot of fun. Saturday, you will catch me both in the afternoon and the evening as I am doing post shows for both Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1. Stand and Deliver will be me, Jose on the air, and Astrid, as she's making her one WrestleMania appearance that we could afford because the Queen was very expensive and we couldn't afford her for any of the other shows. You can also catch me on Sunday morning on Point of View as we welcome Tom Colliehue to the show. And we're going to do previews and predictions for WrestleMania Night 2 on Sunday morning. And then Bobby Munson and Ella J will be your team of extraordinaire for the post show on WrestleMania Night 2. So we're very excited for all of that. You can also catch me. This aired earlier this week. I was a guest on Wallet Media after winning their Royal Rumble contest. And we did a podcast review of WrestleMania 12, which for those that don't know involves both the backlot brawl, the Hollywood backlot brawl between Goldust and Roddy Piper.
And for you
the
to say
Iron
Astrid.
Man. Yes. And
Hollywood Astrid.
What's that?
They were going to say Hollywood Astrid was involved in that brawl.
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately, it was not the Hollywood Astrid brawl. She was a bit too young and wasn't down to the wrestling game yet at WrestleMania 12. But it also includes the boyhood dream coming true in the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. The match that started all of the bad blood and the drama between the two of them at the very end, especially. So we go into detail about all this stuff. There's a bunch of fun there. I really enjoyed Rylan Turner and Vince Delgado. They were fantastic to me on my guest spot there. Hopefully we can see them here as they express some interest in Marvel stuff. So I'm going to talk to Andre, have him listen to the show to see if They're people that he might want to have on. Whole bunch of fun from me. You can check
Whoa,
out.
no, whoa. You gotta ask Peggy if we can have them on. This is her show.
Well, I mean, of course, Andre. First, I have to ask you, and if they can get past you, then we bring them to the Empress. We only bring real concerns to the Empress once they've cleared the two of us peons.
You have the ears to the ground. You find out who's on board and who isn't, and I'll be like, I'll take care of it from there.
Our Queen Pit extraordinaire here is she only gets bothered with the most highest of detail stuff. Until it reaches that level, we don't even bother Peggy with any of this. Mr. Andre, what do you got going on this week?
Not as much as you, or Peggy, but again, I'll be back Sunday. The next scheduled thing for me is Sunday for Point of View, as we'll be chatting the WrestleMania Night 1 preview. And I do want to take a little bit of time to talk about something I'm going to see on Friday with the Empress, as me, the Empress, and Melball will be hitting up Edmonton City Center to see Queen of the Ring this Friday. So I'm probably going to want to talk about that a little before we get into WrestleMania, just a little bit of stuff. And that's pretty much it. And I'll be back again in 2 weeks for Thunderbolts, and you'll see me pop up maybe at other spots. I don't know. I got a couple of things I want to maybe talk about. You might see something pop up in a week or so. We don't know. I don't know. I got to talk to somebody else about it before we get to there. But yeah.
Oh wait, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. No, we missed it. We did. We do indeed.
I haven't seen her in a while. Get to see her Friday, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it's very excited for that. One other thing I wanted to talk about, because I love doing this to you guys at the end of shows, because it's always fun. This is more of an Andre thing than it. Don't worry, Peggy. This isn't really a you thing. This is an Andre thing. Andre, we have now had 2 days and 3 departures from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh,
What is the state of New Japan Pro Wrestling with the losses of Jeff Cobb at the end of the week? On Friday, he'll be a free agent as of Friday. Tetsuya Naito and Bushi will both be gone after I believe it's the May 4th shows.
Yeah, it's hard because you've seen a lot of guys have left the company over these last. You lost Okada, you lost Ospreay, Okada. Some top guys have left and headed to North America. And while Naito leaving or Cobb leaving, he's from North America. I that one's not super surprising, being that eventually, you probably want to go home, spend time with the fam, be a dad, be just a person again, right? Where a WWE schedule now, it's once, maybe twice a week. If you're depending if you're working both days, because it's not like they're doing house shows anymore. So it's a lot more favorable schedule. But then Bushi, again, I can see it. He's been around a long time, and dude has Hello Kitty money. Legitimately, he has Hello Kitty money. His wife is the daughter of the person that created Hello Kitty. So
I thought it was like, I was like, am I missing something? Hello Kitty money.
No, he legit has Hello Kitty money. So that's part of it. And then Naito, I don't think this is the end for him. Honestly, his contract's up, yeah, but it's not like I don't see him heading to America. I don't think he's going to Noah. I don't think he's going to All Japan. I don't think feel like he's going to go call baseball for a while, because that's one of the things he does is he's a baseball commentator. Honestly, I think he's taking time off, and part of it is just let him out. His contract's over. Let him out. Again, the dude has, you were pointing the eye, has major eye issues right now. He has had so many surgeries. He's had 3 surgeries on the one eye. He can't have any more. So he had a surgery on his other eye to bring the eye down to even his eyes out. And then his knees were just wrecked at this point. So honestly, I think it's more of a life, just to take some time off. He's gone forever. I just think he's gone for now. So, yeah.
I just was very interested. I know you don't get to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling on the weekly basis anymore. So I figured with 3 big names from New Japan leaving, and again, Naito might not be what he was 5-10 years ago, but he's still a top star in terms of draw power.
Oh, 100%. That's why I don't think, again, I don't think he's gone. Wow. Hiroki Goto, again, you can't deny he's a star for that company, has been forever. Hiroshi Tanahashi's still there. He's on his retirement road. They're building Gabe Kidd right now. They're building the War Dog faction as a whole. David Finlay, but there's rumors with him. We don't know.
I heard
for sure
Finley and Kidd were both leaving.
I don't think Kidd goes anywhere, but Finley possibly. They're putting too much behind Kidd for him to be leaving, and I think he just resigned. But yeah, like they're building people up. So Yoda Tsuji's on his way up. Murray's on his way up. But again, they don't have a lot of top guys right now. It's a problem of the Okada years of booking is they didn't have anybody beat him to take that spot other than Sonata, and Sonata was already up there, and he kind of just failed it all miserably. So, yeah, the guy they did it with, they should have done with a young guy, not an old guy, older guy. But yeah, it's really tough. Like the company's in a weird spot because like they're pushing Evil at the top, but nobody likes Evil.
That's funny.
Nobody.
Pushing Evil. That's never going to work, is it?
No, it's not. It's terrible. Hulk is right. I think Shingo takes over LIJ at this point. Or it might be Tsuji, because Tsuji's the current global champion. So it's a possible you might see infighting. But yeah, it's a big shakeup in the company, and it sucks. But we'll see where it goes.
Thank you for that. Like I said, I just like to sometimes spring these things on these guys without telling them what's going on. Thank you both for joining Peggy and I and Andre. This is Peggy's show after all now. And again, if you didn't see it, we're going to go ahead and make sure there we go. It is Marvel Talk featuring Peggy with Andre and OLED, I guess. We also want to thank you for 700 subscribers on YouTube. We really appreciate that. That's fantastic. We're getting closer and closer on those watch hours, so we greatly appreciate everybody who's doing it. One more time, here's the video as we head on out. We will be back in 2 weeks on a Sunday to go ahead and talk about all things Thunderbolts. The Empress may or may not join us, but she's given me and Andre the go-ahead to have a show anyways. So thank you for that, Empress Peggy. We graciously accept the honor of going ahead and representing you. Until the next time, goodbye.